Tales from the Pizzaverse, Battle for Brooklyn. Fog on the waterfront. The night was colder than a lone shark's heart. Mikey the Hammer leaned on his bat, breath fogging in the moonlight, watching the East River like it was about to spit something out. Lopez lit a smoke, muttering, "Something don't smell right, Mikey. This fog, it ain't natural." Down the block, a hearse crept through the mist, tires crunching gravel slow. Nobody drove it, just rolled itself to a stop in front of the club. The neon sign above the door flickered red, then blew out. Silence. That kind you feel in your chest, like the air just got sucked out to Brooklyn. Admiral Impeach's dream. Upstairs in his office, Admiral Impeach tossed and turned. Sweat poured down his face, though the room was cold as a morgue. In his dream, chains rattled from the ceiling. Hooks caught skin. A black puzzle box pulsed in the dark, whispering his name like a lover. He woke with a scream, clutching his arms. Deep scratches traced down his flesh, fresh blood oozing. No box in sight. Just the echo of a voice in his head. "You opened us, Admiral. Now we're coming." Muggsy's bad hand. Muggsy Siegel sat at the bar downstairs, playing solitaire to kill the nerves. Deck looked normal enough till he flipped the last 4 cards. 4 jacks, all his own face, smiling wide. "Hell kind of trick is this," he growled, slamming the deck down. The cards bled. Red seeped across the bar top. Letters form in a single word. "Run." Muggsy swallowed hard, but his legs felt cemented. "Forget about it," he muttered. "Brooklyn boys don't run." Frankie Peccoraro's guest. Frank Peccoraro was a gambler, always playing high stakes. But tonight the stakes walked into the room. A man in a fedora, shadow instead of a face, slid into the booth across from him. "Deal me in," the shadow rasped, throwing a stack of chips on the table. Frankie smirked. "What's the buy-in?" "Your soul." The chips turned into teeth, clattering across the table. Frankie's smirk froze, but he kept his poker face. "House always wins," he muttered, "dealing anyway." Willie's mirror. At Willie's pub, last call dragged on. Willie wiped down the mirror behind the bottles, humming Sinatra. The glass rippled. His reflection grinned at him, but Willie wasn't smiling. The reflection stepped forward, hand pressing through the glass. Bottles rattled. One shattered. A stool screeched across the floor like nails on a chalkboard. Willie froze, rag still in hand. "You ain't me," he whispered. "No," the reflection said, eyes hollow. "I'm what's coming." Aaron and the puzzle box. Aaron was the brains, the mouthpiece in a suit. He found a silver puzzle box sitting on his stoop like a gift from the devil. Couldn't resist. He twisted it open. Click. The lights in his office died. Chains slithered out to the shadows, wrapping his desk. A voice like knives in silk whispered, "You opened the door. We came." Aaron stumbled back, cross-exam notes scattering. For once he had no argument. Freestyle in the mist. Freestyle leaned against the alley wall, headphones on, spitting bars into the fog. His rhymes bounced off brick, but the echo that came back wasn't his. It was deeper, demonic. He froze, took the headphones off. The echo kept rapping. "Your words are mine now. Your tongue is mine now." The shadows in the alley stretched, mouths opening where mouths shouldn't be. Sungrown's greenhouse. Sungrown prided himself on his crop, best in the borough. But tonight the plants weren't plants. Leaves blackened, stalks twisted into arms, pumpkins split open with screaming faces. Vines whipped out, coiling his wrists. They pulled, dragging him toward the soil like it wanted him 6 feet under. He hacked at the vines with a garden knife, but they bled red instead of sap. From the shadows, a whisper. "Can't burn what's already from hell." Brooklyn ain't sleeping, not after Trock's funeral, not after the bodies that hit the dirt. And in season 2, forget about it, it only gets bloodier. Nick, he's losing sleep, losing trust, maybe losing his mind. Goku, he's clenching the reins, dragging the family deeper into the shadows. And Bambi Palermo, she's walking the tightrope between Fed and family, with the devil in silk waiting to pull her strings. Christians in town making moves, making threats, and making sure nobody gets out clean, not even her. Meanwhile, the allies are restless, the enemies are bold, and the feds, even they can't tell who's wearing the white hat no more. This ain't just Brooklyn anymore. This is a goddamn bloodline war, and everybody's got something to lose. Coming soon to the Pizzaverse, to YouTube, to anybody dumb enough to watch. Brooklyn Bloodlines, you either ride with us, or you get buried by us. Capiche? The hearse opens. The crew circled the black hearse like it was a bad debt. Lopez flicked his cigarette, eyes narrow. Ain't nobody behind the wheel. That's the part that don't sit right with me. Mikey banged the trunk with his hammer. It creaked open like a coffin breathing. Inside lay a mahogany casket, polished, smelling like incense and grave dirt. Carved across the lid, in letters cut deep. Lopez. The big man froze. Nah, that ain't funny. Before anyone could answer, the lid burst open, empty inside except for a mirror. Lopez leaned in and saw himself, but not quite. The reflection had bloodshot eyes, knife wounds in the gut, and lips whispering, "You're already dead, David." The tall man arrives. The fog thickened, rolling over the cobblestones like a tide of ghosts. Then he appeared, tall, gaunt, a suit blacker than midnight. Eyes glowed like coals. Behind him, silver spheres hummed through the mist, whirring like wasps with razors for stingers. Impeach muttered, "Christ almighty, it's him, the tall man." The bastard raised one bony hand. A sphere shot forward, drilling straight through a lamppost like butter. Sparks rained. Mikey stepped up, hammer on his shoulder, jaw set. "Buddy," he growled, "you picked the wrong block." Lopez's boiler room. Lopez stumbled, blinked, and suddenly he wasn't on the street. He was in a boiler room, pipes hissing, walls dripping. Heat choked him. From the shadows came a laugh, screechy, cruel. Out stepped a burnt freak in a striped sweater, blades glinting on his hand. Freddy Krueger. "Lopez," he hissed, "wanna play cut the Fed?" Lopez gritted his teeth, pulling his piece. "I ain't no Fed here, pal. I'm just the guy who's gonna put you down." But every time he fired, the bullets curved, slamming back into his own chest. Blood poured, but the pain wasn't real. Freddy laughed, circling. "Welcome to my world, tough guy." Muggsy and the mask. Back in Brooklyn, Muggsy staggered into an alley to catch his breath. That's when he saw him. A shape in the shadows, tall white mask, butcher's knife glinting. "Hey, freak," Muggsy sneered, pulling his revolver. "This ain't no slasher flick. This is Brooklyn." He fired 3 shots. Masked man didn't flinch, just kept walking, knife raising, slow and steady like death itself. Muggsy's knees buckled. For the first time in his life, the wise guy felt fear. Frankie's table of doom. Frankie Pecoraro woke up at a velvet table, chandeliers dripping blood above him. Cards lay face down, chips stacked high. Across the table sat Jason Voorhees, hockey mask gleamin', tuxedo stretchin' over his hulking frame. Dealer's voice echoed, "Place your bets." Frankie lit a cigar with shaky hands. "All right, tough guy. Let's play." He threw in chips. Jason slid a card face up, black spade. Frankie flipped his bleedin' heart, literally. The thing beat on the table, pumping blood across the felt. Frankie cursed under his breath. "This ain't no game I can win." Willie's pub breached. Willie thought he was safe, hiding in his pub. He poured himself a stiff drink, tried to steady his hands. The mirror behind the bottles exploded. Shadows poured out, twisting like tar, screaming like banshees. He grabbed a bar stool, swinging like a man possessed. Every smash sent one screaming back into the glass. Bottles rattled, booze spilling across the floor. He was fighting his own reflection army, every punch landing twice, once on the demons, once on his soul. But Willie didn't stop. Not tonight. Aaron's courtroom of bones. Aaron blinked and found himself in a courtroom, except the walls were made of skulls. The jury were corpses, their eyes glowing red. Chains rattled from the ceiling. At the bench sat Pinhead, hammering the gavel made of bone. "Order! The case against Aaron is eternal damnation." Aaron, sweating in his suit, tried to object. Objection! No evidence, no witnesses, no grounds. Chains lashed across the room, wrapping his arms, his throat. Pinhead smiled. "We don't need grounds. We have eternity." Freestyle's battle from hell. Freestyle found himself standing on a cracked stage in some rotten alley. Across from him was a figure made of smoke and ash, mic in hand, eyes glowing red. The beat dropped, chains rattling, screams echoing, and the demon started spitting. Every word made the bricks bleed. Freestyle spat back, voice cutting through the darkness. Each bar came with sparks, flames flickering around his feet. "Ain't no demon that can outrhyme me," he roared, words hitting like bullets. The last verse tore the alley apart. The demon shattered, screaming, as Freestyle raised his mic in victory. "Brooklyn forever, Sungrown's Inferno. In his greenhouse, Sungrown poured gasoline across the cursed vines. Pumpkins with faces moaned, whispering, "Don't leave us, Grower." He struck a match, eyes hard. "I ain't your gardener." The flames roared, screaming faces writhed in the smoke, but Sungrown stood tall, letting the inferno consume his cursed crop. As the fire blazed higher, he laughed through the smoke, spitting, "Hell can starve tonight." The Blood Oath. The crew regrouped at the fog-drenched club. Mikey, Lopez, Impeach, Muggsy, Frankie, Willie, Aaron, Freestyle, Sungrown, bloodied but breathing. They stood in a circle, slicing their palms. Each one dripped blood onto the silver puzzle box, now humming on the floor. "No one gets left behind," Mikey growled. "Brooklyn stands together. To hell with hell." They slammed their hands down. The box cracked, screaming, the fog shaking like it was alive. War for Brooklyn. The streets turned into a battlefield. Out of the mist came Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, Pinhead, and the Tall Man, their shadows towering over the borough. The crew armed up. Hammers, bats, guns, cigars lit like dynamite. Willie swung his stool like a mace. Freestyle spit bars that cracked the pavement. Sungrown hurled Molotovs of his cursed vines. Chains lashed, knives slashed, masks gleamed. Mikey charged the Tall Man, hammer shattering a silver sphere mid-air. Lopez emptied his clip into Freddy, smirking. Your nightmare's mine now. The fight raged, Brooklyn screaming with every blow. Dawn on the block. The sun finally broke through the fog. Freddy's glove clattered to the pavement. Jason's mask cracked. The tall man dissolved into smoke, chains clattering silent. The puzzle box lay shattered in the gutter, bleeding black ooze that hissed in the morning light. The crew sat on the curb, clothes ripped, faces bruised, but alive. Frankie lit a cigar with shaky hands. Willie poured shots from a cracked bottle. Mikey leaned back, laughing through the blood in his teeth. "Brooklyn don't bow to nobody," he said. "Not even hell." Moral of the story. No matter how deep the darkness, loyalty to your crew is the only light that cuts through. Evil falls when the family stands tall. You face hell together, or you don't make it out at all. Thanks for watching, paisans. Hit that like button, smash subscribe, and step into the Pizzaverse, where the horror never ends, but neither does the loyalty.